What's up, tour guy? What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here. Boy, we had a pretty exciting day today. Yeah, I picked up some comic books. This is a old-fashioned comic haul video, and I know I've been out of the comic haul scene, and it's not because I don't want to pick up comic books. It's because I have really too many comic books to justify adding more. So I think a couple videos ago I showed you like a part of my overflow box. It was like a milk crate, right? It was a milk crate of comics. Um, so what we did was I wanted to sell those, or at least just see what we could get for them. And first off, it's hot today. It is officially summer today. The heat is here. I'm sure it was like in the high. I'm sorry, the mid 80s probably, but it felt like 90s. Um, but yeah, I have this big crate of comics. Some of the stuff in there I wanted to keep, so we just kind of like went through, dug stuff we wanted to keep, looked in another box, added stuff that we didn't want to keep, and we had about 77 comic books all in all, and nothing of incredible value. There were some Bronze Age books in there. There were some Copper Age books in there. Um, some older like stuff that I don't collect, meaning like maybe Silver Age, like Bugs Bunny and stuff like that. Um, a lot of 90s books. It was just a bunch of stuff I just didn't want, like 77 books. So the plan today, so essentially, my wife made plans with her friends and the kids, and they went off and did their thing. And it's like an overnight trip, so they went. And that left me kind of bored at home, and I'm just like, man, what should I do? I kind of wanted to go to the comic book shop. It was just like prime pickings to go to the comic book shop. I didn't have any money. So, well, I mean, I had about like $1 in change. Um, so what I did was I just again uh, sorted the stuff I wanted to get rid of and picked up the crate, loaded up in the car, and I was gonna entertain two kind of offers. First, we were gonna go to Half Price Books and see what they would give us. Um, I had some other books, like other books in there to sell as well, that weren't comic books. And then if I didn't get the kind of offer I wanted, I was going to take them to Mill Geek and either sell them or offer them for trade. So those were that was the plan. It was like go to Half Price Books and then go to Mill Geek and then so go to Half Price Books, try to sell them. And if I didn't sell them, if the offer from Half Price was too low, I would go to Mill Geek and see what we could get. Now I know Mill Geek doesn't offer much. I was really hoping to get like something like $20. Hey Tyler Smith, how you doing, buddy? I'm glad you stopped by. I'll add a little thing that I did based on your recommendation. I did read the 30th anniversary edition of The Death of Superman. Um, so I'll get to my thoughts on that as well. So anyway, yeah, we were gonna try to sell it. I was hoping to get around $15 in terms of trade value at Mill Geek. That was like my hope. 77 books. I know Russ doesn't want to. He kind of lowballs you, and especially if you have something worth of value, he'll kind of give you a good value. But if it's going to go right into the 50-cent bins, he's just going to, basically give you not much for it, right? So I knew even if I was to go to Mill Geek, getting 15 bucks in trade would probably be my best bet. But then it would be like, $15 in the store. And to be honest, like $15 at Mill Geek doesn't get you very far because he doesn't really have the cheaper bins. He's got the 50-cent bin still, and he's got the sort of the $3 bins, which are just like, it's just garbage basically in there. Everything's so tattered. And people cherry pick all the golden age, silver age stuff. So it doesn't hold much. And he doesn't really give like good pricing on the stuff he does have graded out. So, $15 there, it would have just been like dollar bin digging, and I would have had to get the store credit, I would have had to keep digging, right? And get $15 value. And I just didn't think I was going to do that. So we were kind of dreading going to Mill Geek, and we're just hoping we got like an equivalent offer at Half Price Books, something equivalent. Well, Half Price Books actually gave me 13 bucks for that stack. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Because, just the gas and time alone to go to Mill Geek would have been, another dollar or so. So I figured, why not? Why not just sell it for 12? Now, 77 books, I picked a lot of that up for like 25 cents or 50 cents here and there, right? So in terms of, the stuff, the value I got back from that, I probably had spent more. But it's surprising, like how much, really stuff you don't really need. This was probably like, when I was kind of being undisciplined and I don't know. I think looking at that whole stack, a lot of it was just kind of needless buying when I had money. It's kind of like, oh, I'll pay, this is what, a $2 book. It's got, like a $10, or it's a key of some kind or something, like I'll just pick it up for the most random reasons. And I didn't really, after some time, I didn't really want them in the collection. They're just taking up space. So it's a really hard thing to do to like come to that conclusion. Like, this is 77 books. If I sold them and all, I could probably get a lot of money. But I wanted to buy comic books today, and I knew if I could get like, like 12 bucks, that would be a good just trip to the comic book store to dig, right? You could at least dig for stuff. So I sold it for 13 bucks, and then I went right to, I didn't go to Mill Geek, surprisingly. It was hot, and I wanted to just eat, so we just picked up something quick to eat, and then we went to Bellevue Coin and, what is it called? Belkirk Coin and Stamp. Belkirk Coin and Stamp is my really favorite comic book shop that's closest to me. It's the closest thing. Disney City Comics closed. Amazing what is it? Amazing Heroes, was it? Jeff's shop closed. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, Dream Strands closed recently. Um, but Bell Kirk Coin and Stamp still going strong. The older gentleman there is still going strong. He was there today with his wife. Um, you know, it was pretty quiet in there, and I went there. And of course, the first thing I did was I was just like, "How you doing, sir?" He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we kind of did our salutations, and then I just got to digging. Um, and so we spent the entirety of the $13. And I look at it like I actually did pick up really good stuff, surprisingly, for $13. Okay, we picked up 6 books for $13. Um, Actually, we picked up 5 books for so we picked up 5 books for $11, and then we went to uh, half price books and picked up another book for $2. So all the money's gone. Um, we spent $13, and I picked up really I just can't believe like the gentleman there. He has a lot of great comic books, and he's really sort of like he's really prices things according to grade, which is great for me because some of the like keys and like books that I want um, aren't really. I can't get them unless they're in a specific grade. But he has a really. I just dug in the 50-cent bins. I didn't dig anywhere else. And I was just looking for value there, and we man, did we find really good value? And we found one book that, I mean, it epitomizes exactly like what I value, what I. So like, I'm just thinking like, if someone had offered me these 6 books for that crate of books, I mean, I might have taken it. Um, for the most part, that's what it feels like. It just feels like, okay, I traded a bunch of books that I didn't really want for 6 books that I do want, and we'll go over what those are now. So first, I'm going to start off with the half price books book. I went to Bell Kirk Coin and Stamp, spent $11 on 5 books, had $2 left, so I was just like, I'm still bored. Might as well just drop by and see if anything was refreshed at half price books. Went, and I'm glad I did. There's a book here. Really love this cover. Really love this series. I'm slowly kind of picking up. I think I eventually want to like pick up this entire series at some point. I don't think it'll be too hard, but it's Akira. We picked up Akira number 25. Really nice copy here. This is a near mint copy. Everything's sharp. Everything's like glossy and vibrant. That is Kaneda on his dirt bike. And yeah, I just love it. It's a really nice cover, as well as just again, this series. I'm slowly kind of getting. I think maybe I have 5 or 6 books from this. I mean, there's like over 30 books in this series, so I'm nowhere close to finishing this. But hopefully, if we can pick up things like this in like a dollar bin or $2 bin. Don't really care about the grade. Well, I do care about the grade, but it doesn't have to be like fantastic, right? Since these are from what, 1990 or somewhere. When was this published? It's like this is a pretty old book, so really glad to have that in the collection. Akira 25. All right, this next book, I'm going to show it off. I didn't really want to get this book, but I'm going to kind of explain why I got it. So we got Man of Steel 26. Nothing key about this book. It's just part of the reign of Superman, and it's this John Bogdanovich cover. Not a great cover, but you know, it'll go into my collection. Um, it's the stuff that I was reading back in the day, and the reason I got this was a dollar. This was a dollar. It was in the Belkirk. I just want to say coin and stamp, or I'm going to say coin and stamp. It was in the coin and stamp dollar bin, and it was in this plastic case. This little, this is basically like, what do you call it? It's a comic book holder, right? It's like rigid, but it's also it's flexible. It's like just hard. Their edges are rigid. It's just like a kind of like a stiff, clear board or clear bag. It's like a stiff plastic case, I guess you'd say. So it was sitting in there, and I was like, this plastic thing alone is about $1, right? It's like, you pay probably $1 just to buy like a bunch of these, right? And then this book, I would have picked it up for like 50 cents or so. So just doing the math, I thought I don't have this book. This plastic thing would be nice, so I just added it because I had about $10 worth of comics. So I just actually I had $13 worth of comics, but we wheeled and dealed and got it down to 11. So this was $1. And we also picked up this. So he had a bunch of these ash cans there selling for $1. And I was tempted to pick up more, but I didn't have the money. So we just picked up one. But again, this plastic case we bought with the Superman Man of Steel. And then we put this one in there. We got the ash can here, Jim Lee ash can for the Hush sequel, the second chapter in the Hush sequel, Hush 2, right? This is Batman 159. And I think this is a $10 price on this ash can. And he was selling it for $1. So we got the ash can for $1. Yeah, that's nice. And then we put it in this the what do you call these? Ultra Pros, I guess. These are like the Ultra Pro comic envelopes. I'm just gonna call it like a stiff comic envelope. So it's really good. I just for the protection and all that. That was a really good pickup. Yeah, it's a $10 book. Picked it up for $1, and he has about 3-4 more copies of this selling for $1. All of the ash cans are selling for $1. So he just obviously doesn't, or his customers don't care. He just like is trying to give them away, I guess. So that was cool. I may go pick up. I'm just gonna check next time I'm in there with some cash. I'm gonna check. All right, so we're gonna get to now some bigger books. All right, so that we got a $10 book for essentially $1. We got like a dollar bin book for $1. This one's probably like a $4 to $5 book for, well, let's say $5 book. $5 book for $2. Doing pretty well. So the last three are really nice key books, and we got two silver. We got a 60 cent, 12 cent, and a 10 center. Okay, I'm going to say the 10 center for last. But I think a lot of you are going to be really, really impressed by this one. So he had this for in the half price, or sorry, half off bin. He had it the sticker price for $10, which he reduced. He reduced this. It was initially, I think, in there for like higher, and then he, slashed the price on the price tag to 10, and then he put it in the half price bin. So it was a $5. This is a $5 book. So we picked it up because it's an absolute. I mean, I would put the condition at a good 2.5. It's like a 2.5 for a square bound king size annual. It is Avengers Annual number 7. Got this for $5. Jim Starlin goodness here. This is key. This is like the death of Warlock. The first time the Infinity Stones are united. And, it's where Thanos just lays waste to everybody. So it's a huge book. It's a big Bronze Age key, and I just couldn't leave it there, knowing like, man, this getting it for $5 in the condition that it's in, because it looks fantastic. You can't see it. This corner is like the main issue right there. You see, there's a little chunk missing there. That's really the only. There's a couple creases. There's just like dings here and there. The edges aren't really smooth, but all in all, it looks fantastic. So happy to pick that up. This was a nice pickup. Just Jim Starlin, good, and just and the artwork is just incredible. Yeah. So this is a big book. Picked it up for $5. All right, that's this next one. When I show it to you, you're gonna like, wow, that looks. It looks like it's in really good condition. I would put just if you look at it from the front. If you look at it from the front, now there's a subscription crease that goes right down the middle, but other than that, there's just minimal wear. Corners are still decent. No major creasing or anything. So I would put this, like a solid. Just if you're looking at the front, I would put at a solid 5. Well, no, because of the subscription crease, you'd have to probably go lower than that. So let's put out a solid 4. But presentation-wise, I'm telling you, it looks fantastic. This is Justice League 23. Okay. And I'm just going to try to give you like a sense coming real close. See, it looks fantastic for a Silver Age book. I mean, you can't even see, you can see it right there, the subscription crease, but it's like very minimal. Nothing else really going on in terms on the front cover. It's just, it looks fantastic. Now, this was a $6 price tag, again, half off, so $3. $3 for this one. Justice League of America 23. This is the first appearance of Queen Bee. So it's a key Justice League of America book. Beautiful Mike Sadowski art. The reason why it's so cheap, and again, I don't mind stuff like this, okay? The reason why this was so cheap, it was $3, is because it's missing the back cover. It's like a clean break here on the back cover. Doesn't really impact the spine. Someone just like, I guess, cut the back cover out, like just scissored it out for some reason. You can see it was cut there. So you're looking at the back interior part of the back page, the last page. Back cover is just missing. And to be honest, like for the quality of the front of this book, I was just like, I don't care, it's like it feels like I'm getting a mid-grade book for like $3, and it really just shouldn't be this cheap. But it is a low grade book by all, for all intents and purposes, because it's missing the back cover. But like again, from the front, I'm telling you, even like okay, let's say because a lot of people don't knock a subscription crease. A lot of people don't knock it. So without knocking that, this is a 5.55 easy just from the front. Um, I mean, potentially higher. I mean, there's just nothing wrong with the front really, aside from a few you know, um, like spine ticks just along the spine, just some wear along the spine. Doesn't telling you, when I saw this, I was like, whoa! And then it said on the front, missing back cover. So I asked the gentleman, "Can I see the back?" And yeah, it's missing the back cover. But at that point, I was just like, I already made up my mind to buy it. So $3 for this one. That feels really good. All right, so now the book of the haul. For those of you who watch me on a regular basis, um, this book is exactly the kind of stuff I I treasure. It's the exact kind of stuff I treasure. Um, and I just, yeah, I saw it today. I saw the price, and I was like, I'm getting it. It is in rough condition, but it's actually, I think, in terms of, well, the grade on this one is also very going to be very low. But again, it just presents nice. Um, yeah, it presents really nice for the age of the book. Um, it's still the cover's still attached, but there's a big split along the spine. Um, there's some chunks missing out of the spine as well, just some missing chunks. We got some good size creasing on the front. A lot of just banged up edges, but really the chunks missing from the spine and all that are gonna what make this probably a 1.0. I want to say it's going to be a 1.0. But we have Action Comics 259. And this is just the kind of stuff I absolutely love. I'm just going to just show you what's going on in this little scene here. It's a beautiful scene. We have, first of all, it's an extra. We have in this issue, Supergirl visits the Stone Age. We all want to see Supergirl visit the Stone Age. We want to read about that, right? 10-cent book featuring the Revenge of Luthor. Okay, so Luthor's in there. He's got Superman's loves trapped in some kind of like beam, right? And then that fiend Luthor, the instant I save one girl from his force barrier, the other girl automatically dies. Which one shall I save? Lois Lane or Lana Lang? And then Lana's like, save me. Remember, I was your childhood sweetheart in Smallville. And then Lois saying, no, save me. So, I mean, this is just like, if you know me, this is the stuff I like, absolutely love. You've got Lex Luthor, you got the Lang, you got the Lane, you've got Superman, Golden Age, 1958 goodness. So this was also priced at $6, half off. Got this one for $3. So, we $3, $3, $5, 11. Sorry, 1 and 1. So all in all, this was a 13 book. $13 sort of haul. I got it to the counter, and again, I'm on good relations with the old man now, so he recognizes me. He doesn't charge me tax when I pay cash now. But I went up there and I was like, could you do 11? And he kind of looked at it and he said, yeah, sure, why not? And so I got this stack, not for 13, for 11, plus the Akira book for 2, so 13 in all. Um, Great haul, in my opinion. And I've already forgotten about the 77 books I sold at half price books today for 13 bucks because, um, yeah, I mean, these are all just going to stay in the collection. They're higher value, you know. I just feel like all the stuff I had in that other bin, there's stuff that really, you're only going to have some random people cherry picking stuff just to complete runs, maybe, but it's nothing of value. Um, a lot of 90s books, a lot of like older books that none of them are key. And yeah, I got some value out of them. So I just look at it like, uh, if someone were to offer me a trade again for the 77 books, like if they had flashed this Action Comics 10 center, I would have been like, shit, yeah, give it, take the whole thing. But I was able to get a couple extra books out of it, looks like, you know. Um, these are definitely, these two books are definitely like uh, kind of prides of the collection. Um, just love this Justice League cover, man. It's just got Wonder Woman in her 60s look there, looking absolutely gorgeous. Um, Martian Manhunter carrying jewels for this lady, this queen bee. Um, yeah, and then of course, the Superman book. Um, I was mentioning like I wanted to pick up more from this era or 70s books. We were able to do that today. And again, the Avengers, actually, there was a Lois Lane book. I was like thinking, man, should I pick up the Lois Lane book or this Key? And I picked up the Key because, this is a pretty uh, major key. So I just feel like um, sometimes picking up stuff of value and keeping it for maybe a collector who will appreciate it down the road, I could sell it or trade it for something I like. So hopefully that will happen. I know a lot of people who'd want this book, so that's cool. All right. All right, Tyler. Well, yeah, thank you for the recommendation. After, you said go and read that. I definitely went to my library app and looked for the book. And lo and behold, there was a digital version available. So I just basically checked it out. I have the I still have it. So I read it over. And when I read the book back in the day, there were parts that I weren't able to read. Some of where the Justice League comes and they they initiate the battle and all that. Um, that I didn't get to read that back in the day. Not that it was like, I mean, I guess it was somewhat important. But going back and reading it this time around, it was nice. It was like it filled in all the little blanks, and which was good. But what I really appreciated about this, like you mentioned, it has this nice little story and a bunch of like news report style. Uh, it's like kind of like a newspaper article that looks back on the events. There's also a story that's like actually looking back. It's like commemorating what happened during this period, and um, you know, it was just like additional sort of like content you could read and enjoy, um, that was part of this 30th anniversary edition. It's like all the creators kind of like added some context to it through either, you know, writing some kind of article, but in the context of like the story looking back on that event. It's not like us, like the writers were looking back on writing the event. It was like they were pretending to be somebody, like a reporter or something, looking back on the events in the context of the story. So it was a neat little read. I definitely enjoyed it, and of course, no disappointment. Reading it again. It's been what, 30 years since I probably took a look at it. But reading Death of Superman again was uh, just as enjoyable as it was when we picked it up for the first time. Um, so, yeah, that was. Thank you for the recommendation. The thing I enjoyed most about the 30th anniversary, though, was actually the what do you call it? The preface, the introduction. It was Dan Jurgens talking about uh, just kind of reflecting back on how they got this project up and off the ground. And he was basically lauding his fellow collaborators. You're talking about um, uh, a group of creatives, Dan Jurgens, Brett Breeding, uh, Walton Lewis Simonson, you have John Bogdanovich, uh, Jerry Ordway, uh, Butch Guice. You had, I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of names. Just trying to remember. Well, it's Roger Stern. Uh, I want to say Terry Gamble. Yeah. Or sorry, Tom Grummett. I want to say Tom Grummett, Kerry Gamble. But anyway, there was just like a lot of people working on this story across different titles. And what Jurgens was saying essentially in the introduction was saying like um, it everybody loved the character so much, right? It was just a group of creatives who all appreciated the character, who all loved Superman. They were fans of Superman. They read Superman growing up, right? So they were all fans of the character, and they understood the character um, to a degree where you you didn't really have to like micromanage this project. You basically had to like come into the room and say, "This is what we want to do." And essentially, when they're having these initial meetings, they were like, everybody brought their notes, but it was, I think, Jerry Ordway who kind of just said, "Why don't we kill him? Right? Why don't we just like kill him off?" And then that was kind of like um, the thing that got people like on board. Like, yeah, let's do it. And so everybody agreed, we're going to kill him and we're going to bring him back. Um, and Dan had that as his initial kind of like another one of his um, ideas, like original ideas, but he and Jerry kind of like just Jerry basically just uh, was the one to kind of toss the idea, because I think Dan at that time wasn't really the senior guy in the room, and for whatever reason he had it in his notes that it was something he was thinking about. But then when Jerry proposed, like actually proposed it, it was like that kind of like alleviated a lot of the what Dan wanted to bring to the project. And essentially Dan was also had just a bunch of different ideas. Um, but they were able to kind of collaborate and bring those all to life. So, but basically, he was what he was trying to say is like it was a joy to work with everybody because everybody understood the project. Everybody had their siloed stories that they were going to work on to add, you know, uh, context and depth to the story. Yes, thank you, Grummett and Kessel. Um, they all brought their own individual like what they wanted to say in the story, right? So they did it within the context of their title, but it all kind of bridged and, you know, rolled into the final battle really, really nicely. And so, yeah, Jurgen said he wanted for the antagonist, he wanted to bring a monster. He wanted Superman to fight a monster. And I guess when they were coming up with the concept of the monster, it would be just something like really just like brute force, kind of mysterious and strong, and just um, something that you know kind of made you like kind of fearful of like, man, what is going to stop this thing? Because you're just throwing everything at it, and it's just beating the crud out of everything and everyone. And you're thinking, man, Ohio, it'll Superman will deal with it. It'll never get to Metropolis. And it gets to Metropolis, and it's like you think, oh my gosh, he's going to cause so much death and destruction in Metropolis, but he finally is stopped, but at the ultimate price. The ultimate price is paid. Superman uh, gives it his all to stop this thing, and it dies, and then so does Superman. So it was just that introduction was really the best part of the book. It was like just hearing Dan Jurgens talk about like because I'd never read any notes or anything related to the creative process before. Um, I mean, I did read some interviews by Ordway and Jurgens back in the day. Um, Something to that effect. We wanted to kill him. And we got a lot of like, you know, surprises in store. Things are gonna, I think, get a lot of fans excited. This I was in the context of like as the story was coming out, but to read Dan's sort of thoughts on that process and his colleagues and the people that he was working with at the time, and just getting the sense, like, again, when you're in a room with people, creatives who understand comic books, understand the history, understand, you know, uh, what they're doing, right? Like, we're going to kill this guy. Well, what do we want people to feel? How do we want people to react? Uh, and then what are we going to create? What vehicle are we going to create to bring him back? That is this. Just hearing the sort of the back uh, stories on that process was a really neat thing, right? Yeah, yeah. It just took you back. It was like a nice and to be honest, like the way they structured the book, um, especially the first, because the where Doomsday's pounding the door, those are like the sort of the epilogue panels on a lot of these books. But the way this book was structured, it's like that those are the first things you see. It's like it's setting it up really nicely with the pounding of the door and the breaking free, right? It's like Doomsday breaking out of his like cage, and you see the image of him like one arm tied behind his back, and he's got one kind of fist that's um, where the suit is tattered away. Uh, Starting out like that, you just jump right in, right? It's like you're jumping right into the story. So that was a really kind of cool way they structured it. I don't know how they structured in the trade paperback. I'm sure that's kind of maybe how they did it, but yeah, that was, I'd read it in the comic book, so I didn't have it in the trade paperback format. But yeah, reading in the trade paperback format was really nice because it filled in a lot of the gaps that I didn't get to read when I was deep into it. I think I had read, like, when Superman was just pretty much engaged with Doomsday through his death. I didn't read any of the sort of the preceding issues, and that was nice just to kind of get that build up. And also, I hope I'm hoping to get a trade paperback of like the uh, entire run, so we can get the return all the way to the return as well. So I haven't. So I read the death only, not the return. I'm gonna have to read the return because that's it. Kind of left me, wanting more. um, I read the death, I think. So let me just check here. Because yeah, I only read the death up to the death, and then it adds some additional stories. Um, and again, a lot of the stories were just kind of like look back, um, either in news reports or yeah. This is what I read: "The Death of Superman, the 30th Anniversary Deluxe Edition." Not the return. Is there one that collects both the death and the return? Again, just really good stuff. Just such good stuff. Such good stuff. Just trying. It's like 300 pages though. And then they have this, like, it looks like Neil Adams did the artwork for, just trying to see if that's the case. Right? Did Neil Adams do it for the 30th? No, it's Bill Sienkiewicz. It just looks like Bill. It looks like Bill. So it's Bill Sienkiewicz, but it looks like he's just like paying homage to like Neil Adams' artwork. It has just, like, I don't know if he did that intentionally or what, but he inked it like a lot, like, like Neil Adams would have inked it. It just has a Neil Adams effect to it, right? Like these panels. But yeah, it's just sort of a cool, like, they're just all these characters reflecting on, like, you know how the events impacted them and their recollection of it and all that. And pretty good, pretty interesting story. Yeah, it was a good read. Um, so thanks for that recommendation. That was good. And if there's I'm gonna have to look out for it. If the return is there as well, I will have to check that one out as also. The return is, I'm assuming, like the reign of Superman and the return, right? I'm assuming that. Um, that'll be cool too. Uh, so yeah, that was kind of my weekend. It was um, a haul video, like a haul. I didn't think I'd pick up so much good stuff, but you know, this does kind of reinvigorate my I think I'm going to be very active to try and meet up with some people to trade first, um, and then maybe try to sell off some of the stuff. I almost want to just like go onto Facebook uh, somewhere, find a local comic book because I know a lot of people these days are having these like um, garage sales or like garage meetups to trade and all that. I would love to take part in like a community trade with what I have. I think that'd be really cool. All right, let's see. Nice. Wow, a compendium. That's what I'm talking about. That would be really because I mean, it's bit it's I mean, even the death, it was kind of I liked how they, kind of made it concise. Uh but yeah, it was like a DC wide event once it got going, right? It just I know Batman was kind of out of commission during this period, right? It was Azrael in Gotham. Bruce was like nursing his his injured back and all that. So it was like a period where Batman was out of commission. You kind of had this like you know non-conventional Justice League, uh, JLA, and then you had Superman dealing with all the drama. So Superman was a very was there was a lot going on in Superman, um, and I think a lot of people were definitely interested in what was going on. But then once they brought him back and all that, it just seemed like um, the buzz and the hype around it kind of did die down, right? It's like okay, they brought him back. Everything's back to normal, almost back to normal. Um, uh, Superman did have this sort of like he had this like his I don't know if it was just me or maybe I was reading into it too much, but it just seemed like he had this different like a more because he had died and come back, so he just had this um, kind of more edgier, more soft spoken kind of tone to his character. Like it seemed like he changed. It had changed him. Dying and coming back had changed him a little bit because he wasn't. Yeah, it's like I think they did that intentionally to maybe when you go through something an ordeal that's like traumatic and um, something that's life changing. It really does kind of stay with you for a bit, and that's what I felt like toward the latter part of when as they were tying up uh, that series. Superman was a little bit more serious. It looked like he's kind of more serious, a little more soft spoken, more uh, definitely more looking out after his like keeping the people he cared about a little closer to the to him. You know, kind of being more in, introspective. I guess is the word I'm trying to say. A little bit more introspective, a little bit more um, focused. I want to read that. I might actually want to get that. but it sounds like it's going to be like a nice hardcover edition. We'll see. Oh, it came out. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's like a good time for stuff like that to come out because they're calling this the summer of Superman. So I even saw like a bunch of Action One, like like a really sort of giants. It's like a I don't think Action Ones are that big, but it's like a magazine size reprint of Action One, so you could read it in like old man print. I saw that come out just now. There's a bunch of like Superman related, one shots that are coming out, and just seems like it's a good time to be a Superman fan, and I love it. I just absolutely am enjoying every minute of the summer of Superman. Um, and Yeah, we'll see what comes out of it, but I hope it's not a one and done. I'm sure it won't be a one and done because it'll probably be a box office hit. But it really is about the other. Yeah, this is Gunn's time to create the success that or have the success that Marvel had for DC, right? So it's a time to like really have like blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster building toward some kind of crescendo integrated, event. And what that is for DC is is kind of a question mark at this point. Um, because you can't, they're introducing sort of a modern version of, it's not like they can build toward like a crisis event, and I would hope they wouldn't because Marvel's already doing stuff like that. So um, I'm just thinking, what would I guess they could do something like Justice League versus the Legion of Doom. They could do something like that, and that would be really, really. I mean, it could be good, but then at the same time, it's like it's not Saturday morning cartoons, right? It's not like a big line of heroes and a big line of villains running at each other, and they're just fighting each other mano a mano, like one on one against their arch nemesis. I mean, that's what we as fans would want to see, but on the big screen, it kind of doesn't translate. I mean, it could. I'd love to see something like that, but like it we just don't know what the the crossover event will be, right? What that'll look like. But they have a lot to potentially draw from because they've done every Justice League, Legion of Doom, Dark Side, like they've done every kind of story known to man. So it just really comes down to who the villains are going to be, and I would imagine it's going to be Dark Side. So yeah, it's going to be Dark Side at some point, and it's going to be some, you know, it's basically going to be like uh, a redo of Zack Snyder's, Justice League. Uh, it's going to be like just Gunn's version of that, and what that will look like, I'm sure. Well, who knows? Gunn might not go the dark side route. That's the thing. I'm making that assumption, but we'll just have to see what happens. Yeah, yeah. Um, I'll definitely, have to get. I'll have to get. I'll have to get it. Okay, for the Triangle Years Omnibus 2. Man, all the triangle. So they're they've released Omnibus 1 for the Triangle series? I mean, that's kind of ambitious to try and read all of them. But if they collect it, I will definitely read it. Because like the Death of Superman, I read it in one evening. I was just like I was just a lot of I read comic books, but I rarely like am so like it just was like yes, like give me more. I just couldn't get enough of it. Um, because I just wanted to read it to the end, like as I was kind of in a like a just a focused um like I was into it. Basically, I was into it. I don't like reading things digitally, but they made it kind of easy. You could just like double tap a frame and just swipe, so you could read each frame. So it wasn't like didn't have to zoom in too much, but I did have to zoom in from time to time. So I don't like reading things digitally, but it wasn't that bad. Kind of could get through it pretty quick. Yeah. This volume collects 49 through 64. Okay. Adventures. Hmm. Action. And Superman. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's the first. That's the first volume, or the whole thing. Oh, the volume one. Yeah. Volume one collects. Cool. Also, it's actually it's some of the stuff before then. Uh, so the Triangle years. I'm trying to remember. Is it the include the build up to the death of Superman? How far does the build up go though? That's what I'm wondering because some of these issues are like way before you even get to the death, right? Because Superman 49, that's like way. So I guess they're just triangle issues, or these are just like they're just adding context to it, right? Like the build up to it. Um, just a legacy, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So when they started, okay, so it's not, yeah, the triangle has nothing to do with the death. It was just the four Superman titles that were kind of like in sync. You weren't getting like disparate stories. You're getting like connected stories. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, I would definitely be down to getting that and reading it. Because you're right. I mean, it's like anytime you have a collected edition, um, first and foremost, you can just read it all. But the other thing is like this is the era I was like reading and collecting, so I didn't have all those issues. I never read all the issues, so it would be nice to just kind of sit down and enjoy all of it, like in order and all that. So yeah, cool. Right? Yeah, that's really helpful. It really is helpful. Uh, but again, I didn't, you know, it's like when you're collecting comic books, I did not pick up Superman back in the day. Um, only when the only reason I got interested in the Superman uh, titles was because they were gonna kill him off, right? Um, and so I just wanted to. see how it unfolded. So that's when I kind of got in. And then when you get in, you're just like, wow, okay, let's see where it goes. And all the way through like the death of Clark Kent. Kind of was reading random issues here and there. Um, but yeah, it was definitely very compelling stuff at the time. Yeah, I just wish I had uh, been devoted to like, because I was picking up so much of the image stuff at the time as well. Um, it's like my focus was like on a variety of things at that time. Um, so it wasn't, and also I was picking up a lot of like X-Men and reading a lot of X-Men stuff. So it was just kind of like a hodgepodge of like stuff that I was reading. None of it really like linear or sequential in terms of like keeping up with something. I never really picked up anything like just to read it every week, right? It was kind of like pick up this because it looks cool, pick up that because it um it's trending or something. So I kind of regret that. I kind of wish I had like early on maybe just invested it more into the Superman books and read all of that. But again, we have an opportunity now, uh, some 30 years later, to read them all. Hey, what's up, fanboy? I saw that you showed off some books. The Return of Superman, The Rebirth. Fanboy has the ultimate. So we've been talking about the omnibus, the triangle omnibus. I'm sure Fanboy doesn't need the triangle omnibus. He has it. He has literally like all the variants as well. It's incredible. His collection is incredible. But yeah, we're talking about the fact that I read the 30th anniversary trade paperback uh, collection of the Death of Superman. Um, it was a great read, and yeah, Tyler's been telling me about the omnibus edition, the Triangle omnibus. Essentially, I guess it's like 3 volumes, and volume one is out apparently. Um, yeah, so that's something I definitely want to like check out and read for sure. I'm gonna have to keep. I hope. I know my library. If you like request stuff, they'll get it for you. They'll like buy it. If you want to like request books that new books that are coming out, you can request it. They'll put it on their buy list and they'll get it in the library system. I just want to look and see if I don't think they would have anything like that. If it just came out, I'm just thinking maybe they might have it. I'm looking for it right now. I'm just going to type in Superman Omnibus and see what comes out. All right, nothing came up for Superman Omnibus. Did I spell it right? Omnibus, yeah. Superman Death and Return. Let's see if that pops up anything. Well, there you go. It's a book and it's available. All right, I'm placing a hold right now. So there we go. We're gonna read the. I don't know why I didn't. I guess I. Oh, and there's a compendium too. It's on order. That's coming. I will place a hold. for the compendium. And there we go. So I'm going to read the. I don't know why I didn't. I guess I just searched the death of Superman 30th anniversary something, but apparently this book was there the entire time. So I put it on hold. I'm going to get the death and return of Superman 30, the one you actually recommended I read, Tyler. not the not the half not half of it. That's the 30th trade. Okay. I imagined you would. That is a because I mean, yeah, that's a pretty the death of Superman was a global event. It wasn't just here in the U.S. It was like it had everybody talking, overseas as well. So that's a tough one. Look, I'm gonna look out for Japanese copies of the Death for you this summer. Okay, fanboy, I'll bring you back some Japanese books for sure. All right, I'm gonna have to pick up one for myself too. At least the Death issue. Um, I'm kind of like I'm kind of uh the other thing I want to pick up are all the Cyborg Superman covers. Just the covers from that period where it's Cyborg Superman. Like if he's on a cover, I want it. I just want to pick it up because, yeah, I think I don't know. They're just the way the DC EU is kind of unfolding. I think it's got a lot of Superman fans excited at the possibilities, right? Um, I mean, I know they're not ever gonna do a Death of Superman because that would just first off, everybody it wouldn't interest anybody in comic books because it would just be like, yeah, we've seen, we've read about it. So I don't think Gunn would be interested in doing something that's just so well known, right? It's like you'd have to create something new around it, but could definitely see Gunn killing off like a major character. I could definitely see that. Like I could see him like killing off like Supergirl or something like to that effect, right? Like just introducing us to Supergirl, and then boom, just like offing her and and like having some big event around it, right? That would be that would be right up Gunn's alley. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, the foil, I do have that one. That one is good because he's in the backdrop. There's an annual there's an annual where he's, on the cover. I think it's a Jurgens cover if I'm not mistaken, but that one is, a pretty cool cover too. But, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice. An Exile story. I think we will get, I wanna say we will get, because we have, uh, because we have Guy Gardner. I'm just trying to think like where they could go with that. I think they're you're gonna see a lot of the '90s. You're gonna see a lot of the '90s stuff outside of the death of Superman. I think you're gonna see a lot of the '90s stuff come as material for right. It just would make sense because in the '90s, like Batman was not all that. I mean, Batman's got to be a big part of it. So maybe it would be something different. We'll just have to see. I mean, really gun is in a space that's um, I know they've mapped a little bit of it out. They've got Brave and the Bold, which is really anybody's guess as to who's in Brave and the Bold, right? Um, Unless some details have been around that have been released. But we're expecting at least Batman and Wonder Woman, right? At some point. Um, People are specking on Nightwing, which makes sense. So really, just like I mean, I imagine like Jim Lee and James Gunn are having lots of conversations around, you know, how to do this. I think they're really going to go modern on us. At least the last 20 years of material, maybe like last '90s to today. Nothing like really classic like Infinity Gauntlet or anything to that effect. Something probably more recent. And again, you have a lot of stuff to draw from because DC's just been busy. Yeah, Lobo. Yeah, right. They're going to bring Lobo. Um, I think they're going to bring the some of those battles from the '90s, right? Yeah, I would agree with this. See, that would be cool, right? That heroic return. Yeah, yeah. Because I know that with the Woman of Tomorrow, the fact that she's kind of going off world, right? She's going like I believe it's her in Crypto, maybe it's her in Streaky, but in the Man of Tomorrow or the Woman of Tomorrow, it was like her in Crypto. But it would make sense for her to take her cat, not Superman's dog, but we'll see. But of course, like Crypto sending him somewhere might be good because he just creates havoc uh, on Earth. So that be interesting on to see how that pans out. So just a lot of excitement. We are at T minus 33 days till the launch of the Superman movie. I am going to get my movie ticket. Uh, Tickets go on sale on June 11th, which is I think next week, right? So I'm going to get my ticket, and the debate is to whether to watch it on the IMAX in downtown Bellevue, which I have to probably pay like extra for, like maybe $10 to $15 extra to watch it on the IMAX versus watching it at my at the Crossroads Mall, which is just your standard screen, not a big IMAX. But I want to see it in IMAX, kind of. But I will have the opportunity to see it in IMAX this summer in Korea with my son. But my son doesn't like loud theaters, so we'll just see. Whatever he's comfortable with. Um, Hopefully, he's okay with going to the movie theaters now. Um, when I took him, I just took him when he was too young, and I think I traumatized him because it's dark and it's loud, and he just started crying. So we had to leave. The Super Mario's we're trying to watch, but he was too young and getting scared. So um, We haven't watched a movie at the movie theater since. I think he has with his mom in Japan, but he and I have yet to watch it. So I'm just hoping Superman is okay for him, and I think IMAX might be a little too much, um, too intense for him to watch it, on that big of a screen. So we'll just watch it on a maybe a conventional screen, and I'll watch it on IMAX when it launches. So excited for that. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me on my haul video. I'm just going to show off the books again really quick one more time. We got Man of Steel 20, what is it, 26? We got Akira 25. We got the Ashcan edition for the second chapter of Hush. We got Avengers Annual number 7. This is the Death of Warlock. Nice Jim Starlin cover there. We got Justice League 23. Classic stuff right there. First appearance of Queen Bee. Low grade, but presents beautifully right there. And then, yeah, the book of the hall. Action Comics 259. And is this... I just love it. Superman's got to choose. He's got to choose one. Which love will he choose? I love it. I love it. Nice 10-cent Action Comics there. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I didn't get to share my summer plans, but we do have some summer plans. I'm going to try to talk my wife into just giving me a little bit of a budget this summer so that we can pick up books kind of like what we did today. Nice. Have a great night. Uh, are you jealous about this book? This is my book of the hall right here. Yeah, no summer job this so I think my wife is like, she's going to be leaving for Japan soon. So she knows I'm going to be bored, right? She actually kind of feels sorry for me when she leaves with a kid, because she knows, like, and she knows I like to pick up comic books, and that's kind of like what I just deep dived into. So this year, because, like, you know, am I going to work a summer job? No, maybe. If she might just like leave me like $100 and say, like, this is your summer comic book budget. So if I get like $100, I just feel like that's enough. I spent $13 and got all these great books today. So I think, like, with $100, we should be able to pick up a lot of good stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think trying to work a job and do all that with my regular job, it's going to be a little taxing this summer. And then I end up picking up just way too many books. So we'll see. I figure, like, with $100, I just pick up really good, just be really selective and targeted, and we'll go from there. Just almost have just like having like $1,000 to do stuff and like go to Vancouver and all that. It was just really exhausting last year. But then again, like you just never say never. Like I'm just kind of tempted to just do a little work on the weekends a little bit just to add some extra cash to the stash, and then we'll see. We'll see. All right. But also, I have about $300 worth of stuff that I'm gonna target in Japan and Korea. I'm gonna look for books in Korea as well. I don't know if there's necessarily comic book shops and stuff in Korea, but we'll take a look. But yeah, we'll look for stuff there. I'll try to bring you back something from Japan, fanboy. Definitely look out for the triangle issues. Give me some ones to target so I know what to look for. But I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying. Um, I just sold like 77 books today for essentially 13 bucks at half price books of all places. I did not get a good deal on that, but they just weren't books they just weren't, hey, no need to send money. No need to send money. Uh, they just weren't books that I was, feeling or interested in. So I just wanted to like get something for them and then get books that potentially would be equivalent of a trade, right? And I feel like I got that. I feel like all the 77 books I had, sure, I could have sold them and doled out, like over a period of time, I would have picked up $1 here, maybe a couple dollars there, like I would have worked at it, but instead I just sold it all, got it out of my sight. Now I got some space, and again, didn't get a lot of value out of it, but 13 bucks. We went right to the shop and got this banger right here. I mean, this alone, I think, just in terms of trade value, like I don't feel bad about trading all those books for the stuff we picked up here today. So not a bad haul video at all. Um, yeah, the the Avengers thing is good. I got another Jim Lee book, so the Jim Lee count is at 395 now. Let me check here. Let me give you the actual count here. I think it's 394 still. Are we at 394? We'll leave you with the Jim Lee count. It is 390. Yeah, scroll too far. 394. Yeah, we're at 394 for the Jim Lee count. So we've got about 6 books till we really kind of nip the count in the bud. At least I'm not as I'm always on the lookout for Jim Lee books, but we're kind of like we've exhausted it. There's not really much I run into outside of like the current books that are coming out, but there's still a couple books I am looking out for, but haven't run into them yet. So it's just a patience thing. That's kind of what I reserve the 50-cent bins for. If like we find Jim Lee books there, we'll pick them up. But um, I feel like I have my Jim Lee collection is like right where it should be. Like once I hit 400, I won't feel the urge to really pick up more outside of that. Maybe complete a few runs, but outside of that, not much. I think I do want to like complete the Superman Unchained run, even though I don't like the suit design it is Jim Lee, it is Superman. So it's something I would probably want to focus and pick up. But other than that, all right, have a good night. You too, Tyler. And again, we'll see all you in the next one. We'll talk more summer plans as we get going. Peace.